Oh, hello. Ready for some bedtime stories. As you can see, I'm all sloth snuggled up. As it gets colder, we get cozier. Before we begin, I must tell you a sloth joke because I am wearing a sloth snuggie after all. Okay, I once saw a sloth eating a watch. It was very time consuming. Get it? Because sloths are slow and watch is related to time. Let's move on. I'm going to take off these claws because otherwise I won't be able to hold this book. This will be our snuggly story time reading today. And it is called the struggle's real. It's called Little Lit. And it has a bunch of funny takes on fairy tales and folklore. So, like, there's a Sleeping Beauty one in here where it's like the real ending of Sleeping Beauty. So I thought it would be fun to read some funny fairy tales for you tonight. So get cozy, get snuggly, get your snuggie out if you have one. If it's cold where you are, because it's getting cold now. Okay, let's begin. This is also a pretty old childhood book, so just know that. The writing style may be a little different. It's comic book style, so it's all illustrations. I'm gonna get my mics a little closer. More whispery. The first story is called Prince Rooster. There was once, a long time ago, a fine young prince who sometimes got very strange ideas in his head. The prince said, "Father, did you know that I'm really a rooster?" "A rooster? Ha ha. And I'm a teapot. Ha ha." "A teapot? Really?" "I was just joking." "But I'm not joking. I am a rooster." Cock-a-doodle-doo. Some quiet cock-a-doodle-doos. The prince stripped off his clothes and flapped all around the castle. I'm pretty sure this book is for kids. Cock-a-doodle-doo. "Come on, Junior, let's eat lunch." "Sit down and eat your roast beef." "No, roosters don't sit on chairs and never eat roast beef." "Oh, toss him some corn kernels and get the royal doctor, quick." The young prince goes, "Cluck, cluck, 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 cluck." The doctor says, "Here, your highness, pop this pill into your beak." Gulp. Cock-a-doodle-doo. The doctor says, "You are not a rooster. You're a prince." I am too a rooster, and you, sir, are a quack. Dun, dun, dun. Physicians, magicians, and miracle workers came from all corners of the kingdom. Hocus pocus, you're not a rooster. Cluck. 100 more miracle workers are here, sire. Oh, what's the use? Send them all away. My poor, poor boy. Cluck. One day, an old man came to the castle. I'm here to help the prince. Okay, I don't think I like that voice. Let's change it. I'm here to help the prince. Can't you read? The sign says, go away. Scram. The door slammed in his face. Just tell the king if you want to help someone who is stuck in the mud, you sometimes have to get your feet muddy. You have to get your feet muddy? I don't understand, but show the old man in. Good day, your majesty. Bah! There's nothing good about it. Can you cure my son? The old man stripped off all his clothes. We'll see. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Cluck. The young prince says, what are you doing here? The old man says, I'm a rooster, just like you. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-doodle-doo. They're cockle-doodle-dooing together. The prince was glad to have a pal. The next day. Hey, what are you doing, friend Rooster? I got a cramp, so I'm just stretching just because you're a rooster, you don't have to live under a table. Try it. Well, okay. See, us roosters can stand up and still be roosters. And the day after. Have you gone crazy? What are you doing now? The old man says, I was just chilly. Us roosters can wear clothes and still be roosters. We can. Sure, let's have some lunch with your father. I'm hungry. Delicious burp. I don't know how to whisper a burp, so there you go. Oh, yes, the kingdom had a big apple harvest this year. It must be the new fertilizer that we... Wait! We're not roosters. How can we eat and talk like men? I'll let you in a very important secret, the old man says. You can still dress like a man, eat like a man, and act like a man, but still really be a rooster. And so the prince grew up to be a fine man, and in time he became a good and wise king. But sometimes, at dawn, when he was all alone, he growled at the sun. Cock-a-doodle-doo. The end. So what do you think of that first story? It was interesting. A little more nudity than I expected. But yeah. The next story is called what twists we have for this one. There's a couple, Myron and Ethel, and they loved eggs. We like the shape, can't you tell? See, they're saying that because they have a lot of egg-shaped stuff going on. Like her hair is egg-shaped, and his hat is egg-shaped, and his tie is egg-shaped, and the trees are egg-shaped. Yeah, I'll move on. I'll digress. They kept quite a collection, which they tended with quiet care. We have eggs from every country, and a few foreign planets. Happy with their unhatched treasures, they never felt the need to leave home. But one day, their friend, a certain Miss Goose, read them a tragic story in the paper. It says here, Humpty Dumpty, while seated on a wall, has suffered a shattering fall. Fell off the wall. It goes on to say, all the king's horses and all the king's men could not do a thing. The Eggman is broken. No. And so are our hearts. But their spirits were uncracked. They left their precious eggs behind and sailed away to help the hapless Humpty keep our babies safe. No problemo. The journey took over a dozen days. Finally, Dumptyville came into view. Their hearts sank. All the flags were at half-mast. This is getting pretty deep. When they reached Humpty Dumpty's shattered shell, they knew just what to do. The shell is looking pretty shattered. All right, listen up. No more soldiers and horses, okay? Just glue guns, elbow grease, and anybody who's good at jigsaw puzzles. And you can see all the little eggs surrounding Humpty Dumpty. And they fixed him. Huzzah! Really nice work, guys. Be sure to leave your card. Like Humpty Dumpty's gonna take their business card now. That's hilarious. Thanks. That'll look swell with our other eggs. You're a good egg, Dumpty. The Orbleys had Humpty re-dumptied in no time. The hump was shell-shocked. I swear these are already in the book, I promise. He gave a special golden egg as a gesture of thanks. Ooh, ah. So, as they journeyed home, all was happy again in Humptyland. Such nice people. And so nicely shaped. Get it? Because they're all shaped like eggs. By the time they arrived home, fate had handed them a humdinger. The neighbor who was babysitting for them said, "You know, I put all your eggs in one basket and, well, they hatched." "Oh, look, they're such a nice shape, so like our own." "Wow, I guess if you want a full life, you gotta break some eggs." I love it, there's so many puns in here. "Good thing they got that golden egg." Oh wait, it's a baby. The baby says, "Good thing they got that golden egg." And the end. That's how it ended. They have a bunch of babies and a golden egg. Yeah. This next story is Sleeping Beauty. Or at least Once a time, a prince came upon a castle in the woods. Inside, he discovered a sleeping maiden whom he awakened with a single kiss. They were wed that very night, and their joy knew no limits. Wow, that escalated quickly. But what happened after they lived happily ever after? Now, the story, as it was first written 300 years ago, can at last be told. Dun dun dun. So, after spending the night with his young bride, the prince returned to his parents. "You have caused us to worry, my son." "Where have you been?" "I lost my way in the forest and spent the night in a woodsman cottage." I think he would be darting his eyes if this comic came to life like this. He didn't dare tell them about his wife, for his mother was the race of ogres and couldn't be trusted. Okay, this kind of sounds like it's racist to ogres. I mean, we all love Shrek, right? Just saying. Okay, the mother is chomping. Chomp, chomp. He continued to see his wife secretly, and they came to have 2 children named Day and Morning. No comment on the names. "Someday I will be king and you will come live in my castle." Okay, but like Loki, why is he hiding his wife and kids? I'm just saying it's a little sus. And so it was 2 years later that the old king died. The old king dying also sounds a little sus. "Now that I am king, I would like to publicly introduce my wife and children." His mom goes, gasp! Very shortly thereafter, you see the prince and his wife. The prince says, "We're at war. I must go immediately." The wife says, "I will be sick with worry." The mother says, "I'll take good care of them while you're gone." Wink. A few days after the son's departure, the old queen met with the head cook. Dun dun dun. "I have a mind to eat little morning for my dinner." And just so you know, when she says, "I have a mind to eat little morning," she's talking about the little girl named Morning. See why this is confusing? This is why you don't name your kids Morning or Day. That's just confusing. That cook says, "Yes, madam, I will have it so. I dare not defy an ogress." Again, with the racism. Little Morning knew not what the cook intended for her. "Oh, sir, I am so happy to see you. Have you brought me some sugar candy?" The poor cook could do no harm to such a child. He took her to his home and left her in the care of his wife. In her stead, a tender lamb was covered with a delicious sauce. So basically, he serves a lamb and pretends it's the daughter, just in case you're not following. "I hope it is to your liking, your majesty." The queen says, "I have never tasted anything so wonderful." Yes, she is suddenly British. A week later, she came once again to him. "Now I believe I'll sup on the little boy." The cook agreed and proceeded to deceive her as before. But this was not the end of his troubles. The queen says, I believe I'd now like to eat the young queen. The head cook says, It shall be done. The young queen says, Oh, sir, what is it? I shall not deceive you, madam. I have come under Queen's orders to take your life. I welcome it, sir, for only then will I see my children, whose lives you have so surely taken. Okay, but legit, what? Why isn't she fighting back, girl? Fight back, fight back. Sir, why do you hesitate? Quickly, come with me to my lodgings. Your children are there. She wept with joy upon seeing them, for she had surely feared the worst. My darlings. The cook then presented the old queen with a very big roast, and the queen says, She looks delicious. How pleased I am with my cruelty. When my son returns, I'll tell him that mad wolves have eaten his wife and children. Yeah, it's a little intense, but like legit. What's the deal with this whole ogre part of the story? Okay. One evening, shortly thereafter, I'm so hungry, I crave fresh meat. In the distance you hear giggles. Those are giggles. The queen spots the young queen and her children and says, They live. I've been deceived. The next morning, the old queen issued a gruesome command. A tub is to be filled with vipers, toads, and all manner of serpents. And it was done very quickly. Now bring forth the queen, her children, and the cook. Which, by the way, how is it that the old queen has more power than the young queen, especially since the prince became the king? And hence, wouldn't that make his wife the new queen and have more power? Just food for thought here. The old queen says, I will have them thrown in one by one. The young queen had but one breath remaining when an unexpected voice spoke from behind them. What does this horrible spectacle mean? The queen, shocked, like her face was like, What? Where you come from, boy? No one dared tell him. The old queen, unable to face her son, dove into the tub and was devoured in an instant. Wow, that's pretty embarrassing. She'd rather die than tell her son she was gonna kill his loved ones. Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. The young king was sorry, for he loved his mother, but he comforted himself with his wife and children. And in time, happiness was theirs. The end. Man, I bet that wife was like, phew, you know. This next story is called The Leafless Tree and is after an old Dutch folktale. You see a father and mother and two children sitting at a dinner table. The father says, Mama makes the best of what little we have. So, I guess they're struggling a bit. They kind of look like it. The daughter says, Yuck, leftovers all over again. Wow, she sounds a little spoiled. The boy says, I'm cold. So yeah, they're kind of living in not the best situation. The mother says, there's no more wood for the fire. Father says, all we can do is go straight to bed. If we huddle together, at least we'll stay warm. The boy says, I'm hungry. Jeez, these guys are struggling. Oh, I wish I had some money. I'd buy firewood, bread, and a bigger blanket. Suddenly, an angel appears out of freaking nowhere. Wake up, dear man. Leave Harlem at once. Go to Amsterdam and wait on the bridge till your fortune comes your way. The mother says, where do you think you're going in the middle of the night? I'm off to Amsterdam, a beautiful fairy. Promised I'd find riches there. Okay, so now we're advocating talking to strangers. Just saying. How dare you listen to fairies? Listen to me and look for a job. Sorry, it's kind of funny. On to the bridge. I'm rich. Not sure why he says that. He's not rich yet. Oh boy, I'll be going home with 4 goats. Meat, beans, and chocolate. There's plenty to be had here. When will I have the money to get my share? Another guy that he runs into says, I was watching you from my window. You've been standing around all day. I don't get it. What's the point? I'm a poor man. A fairy came to me and said I'd find wealth if I just stood on this bridge. What a coincidence. I dreamed about a fairy too. She said, go to Harlem. You'll find a pot of gold buried under a leafless tree. But I'm not crazy. I don't bother with nonsense like that. Go home, dear friend. You're wasting your time. I guess what you say is true. Sad. So, the father goes back home. The mother says, so, did Amsterdam bring you the wealth you expected? Honestly, girl needs to chill. Not exactly, but a stranger told me his dream about a dead tree in Harlem and a pot of gold. The mother, who's pretty upset at this point, says, bah, my dream consists of beans and bacon. I get it. The mother's just like, my husband totally ditched me, and my family is hungry. So, I get it. She's a little upset. But the father takes his shovel, goes outside to the tree, and starts digging. The mother says, he's a worthless fool. We'd be better off without him. And then suddenly, he finds a pot of gold. And the kids say, wow, Dad, you're the best. Is this like trying to say money buys happiness? Like that was just a complete swap, literally. Boom. I hate you to boom, I love you. And so the family is like rich now, and they are in the living room and they have like the fanciest of stuff. Like they got a table and bottles of champagne. Like I don't see any beans or meat here. Oh, and they also start suddenly speaking in English accents. The girl says, Dad, would you please pass the caviar? The son says, phooey, truffles again. The mother says, this is cheap champagne. Send the whole case back right away. I want only the best. So, wait, is this the end? That's the end. That's the end of the story. So, like, basically they're just saying people don't change and they're gonna complain. If they're complainers, they're gonna complain whether they're rich or poor. That's kind of a sad ending. Oh man. And the father's just looking sad. Let's do one more story tonight. This story is called The Fisherman and the Sea Princess. A long time ago in Japan, there lived a poor young fisherman named Urashima Taro. In Japan, the family name is said first, as in Jones Jimmy. So, if my name was Jimmy Jones, they would call me Jones Jimmy. Got it. So his first name is Taro. Like the boba. One day, as Taro was going home, he saw these 3 guys, or kids, or I don't know what age group they are. 3 people, like, laughing and taunting this poor tortoise. Or no, actually, it's a turtle. Sea turtle. And he runs over and says, "Hey, stop that. You shouldn't tease a turtle like that. They're very special. Some people say they live for thousands of years." Low-key though, tortoises, I don't know about turtles, but tortoises like legit live forever. Like they can live 100 years, I think. The 3 rambunctious kids say, "We're sorry, mister. Back to the ocean for you, my friend." And the turtle's kind of looking back like, "Thanks, man." The next day, Taro's out fishing on his boat. And he hears someone say, "Taro! Taro!" And he turns around, he's like shook, he's like, "Who dat?" He turns around and sees it's the turtle. Apparently can talk. A talking turtle. The turtle says, "Hello, Taro." "Hello, Taro. The Sea King wants to thank you for saving my life." Yo, if I got to meet a Sea King, I would be like, "Where the Little Mermaid at?" Taro says, "The Sea King. Climb on my back and I'll take you to him." They traveled very fast and very far. Okay, but so this is confusing because you see a picture. He's clearly underwater. How can he breathe underwater? He's human. Anyways, they traveled very fast and very far until they reached the Dragon Palace of the Sea King. Ooh, ah. There they see this, like, octopus. And the octopus says, "Please come this way. The king is waiting." Then, boom, he's at the king. The king says, "Welcome, Urashima Taro, and thank you for your kind deed. I am the Sea King, and this is my daughter, Princess Otto." They're a good-looking family, I'll tell you that. The Taro says, "I am honored." The princess says, "No, Taro, we are honored to have you here. It would make me very happy if you would stay here with us forever." That sounds like really... That sounds creepy. But Taro says, he's probably just like, "Wow, this woman's beautiful." And he just goes, I would love to." Taro fell in love with the princess. Spoiler. And soon after that, they were married. Oh, so cute. She has some long hair. Every day they enjoyed the pleasures of the palace. And in this way, 3 years had passed. I mean, I guess if they gave me the ability to, breathe underwater, it's pretty cool. And they get to ride seahorses, so that's also pretty cool. But one day, the princess says, "What's wrong, Taro?" "Otto, I've been very happy these past 3 years, but my parents and my friends must be very worried about me. I must go back and tell them I'm all right." "Oh no, Taro, you can't. If you go, I'm afraid you'll never return." "What? Why? Why can't you just let him return?" Okay, sorry. Try not to get emotional about this. "Don't be silly. Of course I'll return. I'll just go for a short while and come right back. But I must see them. You've made your mind, and I can't stop you." Dramatic look away. "Wait, take this box with you to remember me. It holds the secret that will keep you safe. But you must never open it, no matter what." Why do you give someone a secret box and tell them to never open it? That's like handing me a chocolate bar and telling me not to eat it. Like what? She says, "Promise me you'll never open it, Taro. Promise." She's crying. I have a feeling this story's not going to end so well. Taro gave the princess his word, and after a long journey, found himself back at the shore of his old village. But, he says, everything looks so different. Can so much have changed in just 3 years? "Excuse me, where can I find the house of the Urashima family?" he asked the old man. The old man says, "Urashima? No one with that name lives here anymore. Try looking in the graveyard." "But that's my name. I'm Urashima Taro." Old man says, "Ha, that's a good joke. Ha 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 ha. Urashima Taro was a poor young fisherman who went off to sea one day and never returned. But that was 300 years ago. Dun dun dun. 300 years. It can't be true." Sorry, I don't know why he became British. "This must be a trick by the princess to make sure I'll return. This box, she said, it held the secret. I promised not to open it, but I must know why everything is so strange." He opens it and smoke comes out. This does not look good. He said, "The box empty, but my hands, my face." He's turning really old and wrinkly right now. At last, Urashima Taro knew the answer. In the Dragon Palace, time passed more slowly, and the Sea King's magic had kept him young. Now he looks crazy old. I think he's 300-something years old now. But now that he had broken his promise to Princess Ota, he had also broken the spell. And he knew he would never see her again. The end. Well, that was not as happy as an ending as I wanted. But these are a little bit darker, funny fairy tales. I hope dark humor's your thing, because that's what we got here. Well, I think that's enough bedtime stories for tonight. Thanks for listening. what you think of these stories. Or just make sure to get snuggled